Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, see the first question. How do the melting of Arctic ice and glaciers of Antarctica differently affect the weather patterns and human activities on Earth? So, a very big question. Arctic ice melting, how does it affect weather patterns and human activities? Glaciers melting of Antarctica, how does it affect weather patterns and human activities on Earth? Just take a couple of minutes. Yeah. So see the question. How do melting of Arctic ice and glaciers of Antarctic differently affect weather patterns and human activities on the Earth? So you have to give multiple dimensions for this question. It's an essay type question, so you have sufficient scope to include various dimensions. Arctic ice, Antarctic ice, and how they affect the weather patterns and human activity. Weather patterns and human activity. These are the two important aspects of the question. So introduction, you can write, because this is a question related to climate change, you can take any UNFCCC observation or any IPCC report about how the melting glaciers are going to submerge various nations, or how the growing temperature is going to melt these ice. Okay, and then you can represent, this is North Pole, South Pole, this is Antarctica, this is Arctic surface. In the body, you first take the dimensions. Arctic Ocean. Amongst the Arctic Ocean, how it is melting of Arctic Ocean is going to impact the weather patterns. First, this is the dimension. So Arctic Ocean and weather patterns. So when Arctic Ocean melts, it gives rise to when Arctic Ocean melts, it gives rise to the influence on weather, because the North Pole is more inhabited. And then the heat waves across the Earth increase. The average temperature Earth species increases. The Coriolis force will vary. The ocean current direction will be impacted. So this is the on weather. On next is human activities. It will threaten the Eskimos and other creatures, other animal creatures. And then it will give rise to new sea routes, natural resources. New natural resources are found. Okay, new sea routes, new natural resources are found. Okay, and then more natural resources and more energy resources. However, it will add to new gases being released, which will further add to the pollution or the greenhouse gases. So that is about Arctic. Now coming to Antarctica. First, how its melting will influence the weather. Whether this has more than 80%, in fact more than 90% ice holding in the earth. Its melting will directly influence the average earth's temperature, will influence the cyclone patterns, will influence the hydrological cycle, and then will influence the what is called the albedo of earth, thereby the insulation varies. Okay, so these are the with regard to weather, and then human activities. Biodiversity disturbed, melting of islands or submerging of islands, impacting R&D at Antarctica, and then unusual weather phenomena like El Nino, La Nina, etc. Okay, so in conclusion, you can write the loss of glaciers or melting of ice is direct impact of man-made climate change, which will make Earth more vulnerable. The need of the hour is to protect from further degradation. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, you have chosen this tabular column. Okay, this is also good approach. Yeah. Yes. Good. So your font has increased, Shanta Prasad, but make sure you don't cramp up like this. Yesterday I gave you this feedback, but don't cramp up. This is again cramping up. Okay. This is good. This is better. This is good. This is good. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And conclusion also is good, well spaced. UNSS agreement. Okay. Okay. Good. Good attempt. See the next question. Bring out the relationship between the shrinking Himalayas glaciers and the symptoms of climate change in Indian subcontinent. Okay. Yeah, good point, Sumant. So, yeah, good point, Shanta Prasad. So, see the question. Bring out the relationship between shrinking Himalayan glaciers and the symptoms of climate change in Indian subcontinent. So, they are asking you what is the relationship between Himalayan glaciers and climate change. Himalayan glaciers melting and climate change in Indian subcontinent. Okay, so in the intro again, you can use some famous report or how Himalaya is a very important aspect of India's temperature. So you can state that Himalayan glaciers are extremely important in maintaining Indian climate. However, the rising global temperatures are also impacting the Himalayan glaciers, which seems to be melting and directly impacting the Indian climate. So in the body, you will write what is the impact of. So you can talk about impact on various dimensions. Impact with impact of Himalayan glaciers melting on the climate of Indian subcontinent. So what is the impact? That is the question. So first is impact on the rainfall. The hydrological cycle is impacted due to melting of Himalayan glaciers. Okay, obviously the monsoon. Second is monsoon cycle and precipitation is impacted. So you can say untimely monsoon, or either you will have above average rainfall or below average rainfall. Okay, and then the average temperature may increase because the glaciers are melting. Next, rise in river water levels, which may cause floods or submergence of low-lying areas. And then loss in biodiversity. And then temperatures, we have already told. Though this point is not directly related to the weather, you can write it somewhere. Okay, and so all these are the important issues with regard to the climate change or weather patterns with regard to the melting of glaciers. So what are the solutions? We all know, again, we have already done this in previous classes. Sustainable tourism, implementing the recommendations of UNFCCC, following the pattern of economically sensitive zones like in Western Ghats, development again in a very sustainable way, pollution to be reduced. Okay, and then implementing the entire plan for Himalayan ecosystem. The conclusion you can write: Himalayas, or popularly called as the third pole of Earth, and any change in them directly reflects Indian subcontinent and its weather patterns. The need of the hour is to have sustainable development. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good. Introduction is good. Yes. Unseasonal rains, extreme temperatures. This you have repeated multiple times. Just take care, Sumant.
Yes, sir. Albedo effect I've repeated because it. It has
Yeah,
to.
I know that the
It has to be
context
the
and all,
logical conclusion. Yes, sir.
but then the context, yeah, you're saying the context is different. I understand that, but it will be seen as repetition only.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So try to rephrase it or try to
Yes, sir.
write it in a different way.
I'll write. Okay, sir. I will refresh, sir.
Or if you can see in the chat window, some of the points by Shanta Prasad also you can include,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
like cloud burst. Okay, cloud
Yes,
burst
sir.
are also
Cloud bursts I've written, sir.
okay. Flash floods, okay. What is this Panchamrit principles?
Sir, Panchamrit principles are our, the updation of INDC targets, sir. In COP26 at Glasgow, India promised 5 goals by 2030 to
Okay.
actually contribute to climate change. So the keyword that has been used by our Prime Minister is Panchamrit. So
Then-
all those five
Then you-
targets will. Yes, sir.
Then you write as agreed in COP26.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
COP26 was at Glasgow, right?
Yes, sir. Glasgow.
COP27 is in Egypt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I've used this latest, okay. Lifestyle for environment. This is a very latest phrase used by PM.
Yes, sir.
Then you write now, because this is a very good point, then you have to say as used by the Prime Minister.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Afforestation with Milwaukee technique, huh? You're writing all Hindu points, huh? As a nation experimenting, experiencing.
Experiencing. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. See the next question. Major cities of India are becoming vulnerable to flood conditions. Okay, very standard question these days, but very important. Yes. Major cities of India are becoming vulnerable to flood conditions. Yeah, good framework. Sumant, framework is good. So you're trying to divide the conditions as to man-made and the climate change and the urban issues itself, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is also a good way to write that answer. So just trying to segregate the reasons. So what is the question? Major cities of India are becoming more vulnerable to flood conditions. Discuss. So straightforward question. They are asking you urban floods. So what are the reasons and etc. So introduction, you can write that how many cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, etc. are becoming more and more prone to urban floods, which is putting the entire life to haywire. In the body, you can write reasons. So you can follow the approach Sumant has also taken. So reasons for urban floods: unplanned urban growth. So the cities are not ready to accommodate so much population. Then blocking of natural drainage because of the illegal encroachments. Choking of storm drains, or in some cities, non-availability of storm drains, slums, and other such areas where drainage or the sewerage systems are not complete. Apart from this, you can say impact of climate change. That is cloud burst or the flash floods. And then deforestation leading to untimely, unseasonal rains. Okay, and then the pollution is creating a lot of heat, and also the construction activity leading to urban heat islands. So all these are the major issues for reasons for the urban floods. So what are the solutions? Removal of illegal encroachments. Number one. Then afforestation. Development of satellite towns, which reduces pressure on urban areas. And then you can give the example of Strategic Nala Development Program of Telangana. And then storm water drainages should be clean, and so on. Conclusion, you can say by 2050, 50% of Indian population is going to be urbanized, and the need of the hour is to ensure that they are sustainably developed in order to meet the growing demand of urban space. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, you check mine, sir, because fourth answer I ran out of content and I didn't write it. So
Okay. Shanta, you have written fourth answer, Shanta Prasad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is the dimension you have wanted to give separate. Okay. Okay. You can talk about smart cities also. Yeah, good
yes,
point.
sir.
A good point. So Panchamrit principles for climate change, right? That na? To mitigate climate change. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or else it looks like a Patanjali ad.
Okay, sir.
Okay, good. See the last question. In what way can floods be converted into sustainable source of irrigation and all-weather navigation? So again, two parts of the question. Floods to be converted into source of irrigation and floods to be converted into inland water navigation. Take 2 minutes. Yeah, Shanta Prasad. Good points. So see the question. In what way can floods be converted into sustainable source of irrigation and all-weather inland navigation in India? So two parts of the question. Floods as a source of irrigation and navigation. So two headings. First, take the introduction. Due to climate change, the vagaries of monsoon have increased, which has increased the events like floods, cloudbursts, etc. Thus, it is now important to make sure these natural phenomena can be used for better living. So in the body you will write floods for irrigation. So we know that even today 50% of India, greater than 50% of India is rain fed. So the floods waters can be diverted through canals. Okay, can be diverted through canals and given for irrigation. And also interlinking of rivers can be planned, because when some rivers are flooded while some rivers are dry. Example, the flooded rivers include something like Brahmaputra, while some rivers like Narmada are more often than not dry. So the need of the hour is like Ken Betwa, Krishna Godavari, interlinking of rivers. Construction of check dams, reservoirs to store flood water to be used later. So these are the aspects for flood and irrigation. And then flood and navigation. Floods can help in maintaining minimum water flow, which is helpful in navigation. national waterways can be interlinked through diversion of floodwaters. Floods sometimes take away silt deposits, thus creating new avenues for navigation. Okay, and then here also maybe you can write interlinking of rivers can help in navigation. And then conclude by saying floods are in general not desirable, but due to growing uncertainty in the weather conditions, or due to the climate change, floods are becoming more and more recurrent. Hence, the need of the hour is to use them. So in introduction, what we have written is to use them for, so the need of the hour is to use them for a better purpose. Okay.
Okay.
Clear, Sumant?
Yes, sir. I think this inland navigation was the third time almost we are seeing this question, quite
So
repeated topic, sir.
it is one of the favorite topics of the government, right? So inland
Yes,
navigation,
sir.
they are focusing more. So even Nitin Gadkari speaks a lot about inland navigation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Check dams, Ken Betwa. Yeah, flood canals is a good way. Good dimension. Micro irrigation is a good dimension. Good. Your conclusion is good. Okay. So we'll meet tomorrow again. Good night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night.